Hi guys, I'm Dr. Daniel Gunn. I'm your professor for this course, Current Moral and Social Issues. And I hope you're able to see my screen right now. I'm going to go over some things that are essential for you to know for you to be successful in this course this semester. First of all, go to Canvas. Your Canvas should look something like this when you go there. In Canvas, you will find, first of all, the video that you're watching now. Then you will find the syllabus. Syllabus is my contract with you and your contract with me. If you do what's explained in the syllabus and what I lay out in Canvas, you'll do well in this course. You ignore it, you don't do it, you won't do as well in this course. Also, there's no textbook required. This is your textbook for the course. And so this document here, Current Moral Social Issues CMSI Reader, has multiple articles in a PDF version. And then I put supplemental articles in here as well. So this is your textbook. They're all articles. I don't require you to buy a textbook. I just can't find a textbook that really works well for all the topics that we cover. Then you get into the actual, each module. I have some lectures. I don't have a AI module lecture just yet. I'm working on that, but I do have some videos and things up there for you already. And so each module, you will find a video lecture. You simply click on it. If you get this symbol right here, it's really simple. Just go up here and click, and it'll take you right to it. Okay, let me do that again so you can follow me. If you get this symbol that says that that the content is not showing up, simply click right here, and it'll take you to, I don't know why it does that sometimes, but nevertheless, it does. But you will find for each module, there are lectures. There are also supplemental videos as well. So here you see an example of one of the supplemental videos. There are also explanatory videos in here as well, how to do a reflection paper, scaffolding and doing reflection paper, and key terms in ethics. Now, inevitably, I get the question, what about the final exam? Here's your final exam right here. It will be taken from this list of terms right here. It will be 40 questions, half a point each. You'll have 3 hours to complete it. Most people complete it in about 30 minutes. Some people as little as 20, some people as much as 40, but you'll have 3 hours to complete it. So no need to worry. You'll have time to look up these terms. But that's all right here in Canvas. Now, I want to go over some of the syllabus so that you'll understand what it is that we're doing during this semester. So I'm going to pop this out and make this larger. I hope you're able to see that. So your reader is virtual. That's your textbook. Here I explain the rationale of this course. So we're going to be dealing with some very adult themes throughout this course, and I hope you're able to handle that. And you're encouraged to share your views on things, but you must support your arguments. You must support your beliefs with facts. You can't just have assertions. You have to have facts. And so I will judge you on how well you make your arguments. How well you make your argument is ultimately what I'm judging you on. You're welcome to any conclusion you want based on the facts, but you have to base it on the facts. Obviously, during this class, since this is virtual, not in person, how do I take attendance? I look at how you engage with the course. How often do you engage with Canvas? You're not able to see it, but I'm able to see it. There are analytics that show me how much you're engaging on a daily, weekly basis throughout the course. And there are times where it goes like this at the beginning of the semester, it begins to level out, and by the end of the semester, it drops off. Well, if you drop off, that tells me you're not engaging with the material anymore. And so you really have to engage with the material throughout the semester. I can see how many page views, how much you engage, how long you're on the Canvas page. So keep that in mind. That's how I'm going to gauge class participation and your attendance. And remember, class participation attendance does count for 10% of your grade. So you really do need to engage with the material throughout the semester. The other thing that I will be judging you on are your discussion questions. In addition to the other assignments, I'll talk about those in just a moment. So the assignments that are due, I will show you in just a moment where you find all the dates, but all work is due. If you're running late because you had a medical excuse or this, that, and the other, everything's due by December 13th. I am very prompt at submitting my grades because everything is graded throughout the semester as we go along. And so my grades are due 48 hours after the final exam. And so they will have them within 48 hours of the final exam. They will have my grades. That's a deal I'm making with you as your professor for this course. So there are weekly discussions. So each module, there might be a couple of exceptions, but each module has a discussion question. And I will show you some of the discussion questions in just a moment. I expect you to write 2 to 3 fully developed paragraphs, not just, yes, I agree, this is a good idea. And the fully developed paragraphs should reflect the fact that you listened to the lecture, you also watched some of the supplemental material, and you did the reading that's assigned for that module. And so if I see that you put half, like 2 sentences, I'm going to mark that as incomplete. But if you write 2 to 3 fully developed paragraphs for each discussion, then I'll know that you engaged with the material. I'll look for certain things to tell me that you engage with the material. I've been teaching this course for several years, so I can tell if you engage with the material or not. There will be 3 3-page reflection papers that are due. 3 3-page reflection papers. There's no research required for these, but you must lay out your argument logically. So in other words, I'm looking for in your 3 3-page papers, there's 750 words. I shouldn't just say 3 pages. There's 750 words. I'm looking for you to have a clear thesis, very clear thesis. I'm looking for you to have clear premises as to what your points are, and lay that out very clearly. You can even number your arguments that support your thesis if you want to. So for example, my thesis is all men are mortal. So that's my thesis. My argument is Socrates is a man. Okay, that's premise number 1. Socrates is mortal. Therefore, all men are, Socrates is a man, Socrates is mortal, therefore all men are mortal. So I had 2 premises there, and I came back to reflect my thesis. And so essentially what I'm looking for you to do is develop your argument and lay out clear points that articulate what it is you're trying to say. Of those 3 reflection papers, one of them will also become your final paper. And your final paper will be between 2,000 and 2,500 words. That's roughly 8 to 10 pages. And for this, you will need research. Research will support your premises. And in writing this, you can use all the so for one, again, of the 3, 1 reflection paper will become your final paper. And that final paper can include all the material that you had in that 1 reflection paper and all of the extra work that you're going to do to make that paper possible. Research, and I'll talk some more about that in just a moment. And so here, I lay out some of the things I'm looking for in your final paper. So keep this in mind. These, it's very important. You're writing a philosophy paper. You're not writing a research paper. I want to be clear about that. A philosophy paper is articulating an argument. So your reflection papers are articulating an argument. You're trying to argue for a position. You're not researching. So for example, if you're researching on, what's one of the topics? AI in education. I don't need you to tell me everything about AI in education. I need you to lay out an argument why it's okay to use artificial intelligence in education, or why it's not okay to use AI in education. If you're talking about gender affirming care and health in the healthcare industry, why it's important. Don't give me a history of it. I can look up the history of it. I've got Wikipedia or any other sources. I need you to articulate a reason why gender affirming care is important in healthcare. And so articulate your argument, or you can argue the opposite, why it's not important. You might be arguing, biological males are biological males and therefore should be treated accordingly in healthcare. Or you could argue the opposite. If you're a transgender male and talk about the reasons why somebody should be treated accordingly in the healthcare environment. So you're making an argument, you're not doing a report. It's very different doing a philosophical paper versus doing a report. I'm not looking for reports. Your final paper is not a report. It is an articulation of an argument that you're trying to support. It has a clear thesis and clear premises, points, I should say, points if you're looking for that, that support the thesis. If you're not sure how to write a thesis and do an argument, then you need to find some help in doing that. One of the assignments that you will be required to do, in addition to the reflection papers, the final paper is called an annotated bibliography thesis and outline. It sounds like I'm speaking in tongues. It's probably because you've never had to do something like this before. So here's how to do it. It's laid out here in the syllabus. Thesis: clearly articulate in one or at most two sentences what it is you're trying to argue. Clearly articulate what it is you're trying to argue in 1 to 2 sentences. If you read your sentence and you say, in other words, this is what I'm trying to say, then you need to put those other words because that seems to be simpler. Then you need to produce an outline. I've given you an example here. My thesis is that Walmart is bad for the economy or the environment. So Walmart is bad for the environment. And so here, point number 1, Walmart ships items long distances using fossil fuels. I can find facts. I can use examples about that. Walmart destroys small family businesses. So I can find facts that support that. But the counterpoint might be that Walmart provides lots of jobs. So Walmart is not all bad. It provides lots of jobs. So Walmart is the largest employer in some states. So here is an example of how to do an outline, okay? So that's 2 parts: your thesis, clearly articulated, and outline, which lays out what you're going to argue. All this is regarding your final paper, by the way. So this is to help you work your final paper. And then finally, there is the annotated bibliography. The annotated bibliography is pretty simple. Find a website, tell me why that website is important to you, and then you can even give me a quote from that website that you might use in your paper. Those websites need to be .org, .edu, or .gov. 8 to 12 sources. So once you have at least 8 sources that are .org, .edu, .gov, then you can start with .coms, .nets, all right? So first, however, I want you to go to reputable, verifiable, reviewed sources like .org, .edu, .gov. Then you can go to your .coms. Articles that you find on the library website do count because they're originating from an EDU, so that those do count. And so after you give me the website, the URL, then you will explain why that website is helpful, and you will also explain what you found there and maybe even give me some quotes. So there will be a final terminology exam. I just showed you where you can find the terms. And then the last thing that you'll have to worry about is a presentation. This is a 5 to 5 to 7 minute presentation on your final paper. And here I explain what I'm looking for in there, why you chose it, what you learned, what you believe now based on that. Don't plagiarize, don't plagiarize, don't plagiarize. If you quote someone, cite them. If you use their material, you must give them credit for that. If I find that you're not doing that, I will count off and I reserve the right to fail you if I find that you have plagiarized. That is academic dishonesty, that is theft of ideas, and it is wrong, and I reserve the right to fail you because of that. So if you're not sure how to properly cite your sources, now is a good time to figure out how to properly cite your sources, okay? In fact, I'll do, in fact, let me make myself a note about that. I've got my outline here. So I'll show you how to do that. Reasonable accommodations, it's your job to let me know if you need accommodation for anything. Here's a grading system, three page papers, 10 points each. Thesis, outline, annotated bibliography, 10 points. Video presentation, 5 points. Final paper, 25 points. Terminology exam, 20 points. Class participation, 10 points. And here is the schedule right here of the readings, modules, and it even includes when things are due. I'll show you where else you can find that as well. Okay. All right, let me go back to okay, now we're back to the Canvas page. Let's go over some other things that are here. So you're watching this video. This is your syllabus. This is your reader. These are your final exam terms. This explains scaffolding, how you have 3 reflection papers. One becomes your final paper that also is what you do your thesis, outline, and annotated bibliography on, and on which you do your final presentation. So think of scaffolding, meaning that we're building something up, okay? So you're starting at the bottom with a reflection paper, then you have your annotated bibliography, thesis, and outline, then you have your final paper, and then you do a video presentation for me, okay? So scaffolding, we're building as we're going up. Here I explain how to do a reflection paper. So if you're still not clear about what I mean by making an argument rather than doing a research paper, I explain it to you there. And here's everything else that you'll need for the semester. Now, I said I would show you how to cite your sources, an easy way to do that. So I'm going to open up a Word document here. Okay, I hope you're able to see that. So my thesis is so that's my thesis. All right. Now, this is what I'm going to try to argue. So first of all, my first point that I showed you in the outline earlier is Walmart ships goods from faraway locations. Now, can I prove that? I can probably find some sources that explain that in some way. So I didn't look it up. I'm going to do this for the sake of argument. Walmart ships from faraway locations. Professor John Smith recorded the distance for average goods and it was, quote, more than 200 miles to the local store from the distribution center. All right, I'm using his quote. So the easy way to do that is here. I'm in Word. Pay attention here. So I'm going up to reference. Whatever your discipline calls for, APA, MLA, Chicago, you see it here. Engineering, even whatever. I've been using a lot of APA mostly lately. So I'm going to put the citation in here. The author is Smith John. You can even hit edit if there are multiple authors. Title of his book is Bad Business. And I'm just making this up. The journal is Local Business Review. It was published in the year 2021. It's found on pages 200 through 220. So then I'm going to click OK. It puts in a note there. Now I need to put in the page number, and that quote was found on page 214. And now I have properly cited my source. Now here's the wonderful thing about this. So I do that for each one. If I quote John Smith again, said, that, or here I'm not going to quote him, I'm going to use his ideas. Walmart is bad for, quote, mom and pop shops. So there I wasn't using the exact quote, but if I want to use him again, go back into citations, he's still there. All I got to do is double click on it and it comes up, and then I just need to add the page number. That was on page 215. Now, here's the absolutely wonderful thing about doing this. When I am done, center that. All right, when it's time to do my works cited, I go back to reference, bibliography. Nope, we want to do a works cited there. All right, so it automatically puts them in the correct format for me. All right, so here's the thing. Properly cite your sources. All this was to say, cite your sources, cite them properly. If you're not sure how to do that, even after I just gave you an example, then you need to find help to do that. All right, so let me go back one more time to, I want to go and show you discussions here. I'd like to share my screen. Okay, so here is a list of all the assignments for the semester. This includes all of your discussions. Okay, discussions don't give you points or letter grades. It's either you complete them correctly or you don't. And so here's the list of everything that's due. It includes the discussions and the graded assignments, and it tells you what the grade is for each, or what the point value is for each assignment. Okay, so let's just go and say you've done the reading, and so it's time you want to answer the first discussion question. I start out what I hope will be a fun discussion question about would you eat ground mouse? So this is just an argument about cannibalism. There's no right or wrong. You're either, think it would be okay or you think it wouldn't. And so here I give you the question, the discussion question. After completing the readings on cannibalism and reviewing the material on consequentialism and non-consequentialism, make an argument for or against eating a deceased relative. Remember to separate the ick, that's gross, factor from the facts and reality. So here is your discussion question. You'll simply hit reply and type in your response. Okay, and then after you type in your response, then you will simply post your reply. Okay. All right. So I'm going to stop all of that there. I will also tell you that you're able to email me at any point, and I will do my best to help you if you have any questions. And then also, finally, throughout the course of the semester, once or twice, I will schedule an optional meeting where you can come, you can ask your questions, you can go over anything you need to go over, and we'll talk about it at that point, where other students will be in attendance if they choose to as well. All right. Well, I wish you the best during the semester. Hey, the grade's in your hands. You've got everything you need there on Canvas and in the syllabus. Have a great day. Goodbye.